Good morning, everyone. My name is Muskan Saxena and I am from TMU. So, today we will discuss about the introductions to managerial communication. So, what do you understand by the managerial communication? First, we will discuss about that. So, basically, what is managerial communication? Managerial communication means when we communicate in the managerial level, like with the management part, that terms to be the managerial communication. Or in simple terms, what we say, managerial communication is a process by which manager convey informations, ideas, instructions, and feedback within an organization. It is a critical component of management because effective communication can enhance organizational efficiencies, employee satisfaction, and overall performance. Here is a detailed overview of managerial communication. So, what do you understand by managerial communication? What is the definition of managerial communication in the simple format? So, managerial communication is the process by which information is exchanged between the managers. As I have told you, managerial communication means when we exchange any information with the managers level and in their teams, other department and external stakeholders. It comprises by both verbal and non-verbal communication. So, first of all, we know what do you understand by the verbal communication. Verbal communication, like for example, when we are talking to each other, it comes to be the verbal communication. And if we are talking about what do you understand by the non-verbal communication, in simple word, we can say non-verbal communication means when we are using our body language or gestures, postures. These are some of the part of the uh, non-verbal communication. Now, next comes to what are the importance of managerial communication. So, first importance is flow of information. Flow of information means the information should be correct, like the manager, what they are providing the information is the able to carry out their responsibility. At the same time, we can say manager must also communicate with other manager or the fellow managers to achieve a common goal. That terms to be the formal communication or flow of communication. Next, we can come across it's a teamwork. What do you understand by teamwork? Teamwork basically means if we are not communicating the information with our team, so how can we achieve a goal? So that comes to be the teamwork, where we can say to leverage or collect the effort, team leader need to maintain open challenges of communication so that team members are aware about their responsibilities and expectations. So a manager should convey each and every responsibilities or expectation to the team members so that they can easily understand what actually the organization wants from them. So next we come with the exchange of ideas. What do you mean by exchange of ideas? For example, if we are working in any of the organizations, so we all have a ability or interdependent skill so that we can communicate with each other. Okay, so that we can also get a quick result that comes to be the exchange of ideas. For example, communication among themselves so that all resources, ideas, and information benefits all the teams and they can achieve the goal easily. Now, next comes to the improvement employees' performance and engagement. What do you understand by improvement employees' performance and engagement? That means clarify expectation when managers communicate roles, responsibilities, and expectations clearly. Employees are more likely to perform well. Motivates employees, positive and constructive communication can boost morale and motivate employees to achieve their best. So we are having so many importance of the managerial communication. Some of you can see over the screen, and some I will tell you. So next is your building strong relationship. What do you understand by building a strong relationship? It is a very important information, or we can say that it is an importance of the managerial communication, that if we build a relationship with the other person, so there should be a trust between manager and the employees for a positive organization culture. Conflict resources, effective communication skills help manager address and resolve conflicts quick and fair. Now next come to the problem solving. What do you understand by the problem solving? Problem solving basically means when a manager put in place of communication channel so that employee feel confident about asking question, and they can also give their response to the manager. Now next comes to the facilities of change management. What do you understand by facilities of change management? Communication change. Clearly, communication is essential when implementation organization changes, as it helps employees understand the resources behind the changes and what is expected of them. That comes to the facilities change management. It is not showing in the PPT, but it is also our importance of managerial communication. Now, some of the other importance of managerial communication, like we have to support the leaderships or the management. What do you understand by leadership or leadership quality? Leadership basically means a leader who communicate well and more likely to inspire and guide their team efficiently. Decision making implementation manager need to communicate decision clearly to ensure that they are understood and implement correctly. Next come to the feedback mechanism. What do you understand by feedback? Like once we communicate with the other person, so they will give a response or they will answer to our question, that comes to be the feedback. Manager use communication to provide feedback to employees, which is crucial for their development and improvement. Now next comes to the channel of managerial communication. So what do you understand by the channel of managerial communication? So channel of managerial, we are having three types: written communication, verbal communication, and the last is your oral communication, non-verbal communication. So as I have discussed further before also, what is written communication? Written communication basically means when we are communicating while writing anything. For example, physical copy of circular or notice may be printed and handed out to the relevant employees. Some organizations use virtual message or MOM board to share the update. That comes to be the written communication. Or we can say we are also having the best example of written communication is your letters, applications, notice. These are some of the types of the written communication. Now, so as we discuss about the written communication, so I have told you many of the examples of written communication. For example, emails, MOM, reports, letters. These are some of the examples of written communication. So what do you understand by email? Email is basically a formal or informal communication providing a written record of communication. Basically, it is a type of a electronic letter, we can say. Okay? Apart from this, what do you understand by MOM? MOM is used for the internal communication within an organization, often for brief formal message. Next, what do you understand by report? Report is detailed document that provide information, analyze, and recommendation. Now next comes to the letter. Letter is basically a formal written communication often used for external communication with the stakeholders. So these are some of the examples of the written communication. Next comes to the verbal communication. What do you understand by verbal communication? Verbal communication remains the most common way of communicating in the workplace. Verbal communication means when we are sharing the roles and responsibilities to the team members by the managers. For example, face-to-face meeting, telephonic conversation, video conferencing, and so on. So now one by one we will discuss what are what are the example, like one by one we will discuss about the example. So what do you understand by face to face meeting? Face to face meeting means direct interaction with the team member, or we can say ideal for discussing complex issues and making decisions. So that comes to be the face to face meeting. Next we will know about the telephonic communication. As we know, telephonic communication usually or a quick or a direct communication, especially when face-to-face meeting are not possible. Like for example, we all do not have any time in the organization, we are having so much work. So what our manager do, they will call us and give the information, that comes to be the telephonic information. Now next is your video conferencing. Video conferencing especially means allow for face-to-face interaction when participants are in the geographical area. For example, like work from home. If we are taking the example of work from home, we are from the different cities, or if we are taking the example like four team members are there and they all are from the different cities. So what they will do, they will take like for example, they will arrange a Google Meet or Zoom meeting from a geographical area. So all the participants come at a specific place and they will discuss their information. So that comes to be the video conferencing, and this is very useful at the time of work from home. Now we will come across what do you understand by the non-verbal communication. So non-verbal communication simply means when we are using some visual aids or body language to share the information with the other person. For what do you understand, now we will know what is body language. Like as I've told you, body language, visual aids, or the graphical. So body language include the facial expression, how you express your information by your face is terms to be the facial expression, gestures, postures and eye contact, which can reinforce and a verbal message to the another person. Now comes to the visual aids. Visual aids is also a form of a non-verbal communication. For example, like charts, graph and presentation that helps to convey the information to the other party. That's terms to be the visual aids. Now next comes to be the communication process. So what do you understand by communication process? Communication process is a series of steps that allow message to transmit it from senders to the receiver. Effective communication involves a clear understanding of each step in process. So here we will give a detailed information about who is sender, what is a receiver, or who is a receiver, what is message, what is feedback. So first we will know about who is a sender. Sender, we can say it is the beginning of a message or a communication process. So sender is a person who send information to the other person. For example, a command, a request or a question or an idea that is shared by one person to the another person. The sender is a person or an entity that will encode the message and decide the channel of communication and ensure the message in a clear structure. That terms to be the sender. Now next come to be the encoding part. What do you understand by encoding? So encoding is the process of converting the sender ideas into a form that can be communicated, such as word, symbols or gestures. The sender must consider the receiver's background, culture and understanding while encoding the message to ensure it is. Now next come to the receiver. Who is the receiver? So receiver is a person to whom a message is to be directed, or we can say whom the message is to be sent. It terms to be the receiver, and he will give a feedback. So now we will come upon what is message. So the message is the information, thoughts or ideas that the sender wants to communicate. It should, so if we can, how the message looks like. So message should be clear. The information which you are providing, it should be clear. It should be in a concise manner. Concise means it should be in a shorter manner and are relevant to the receivers to avoid misunderstanding. If our message is not clear, or we can say the tone of the message is not clear, so that somewhere gives a misunderstanding to the receiver. So we have to always share the message or the information in a very clear or concise manner so that the receiver can avoid the misunderstanding. Now next comes to the channel. What do you understand by channels? Channels is the medium through which the message is transmitted. Like sender decode the message, or we can say sender begins the message. So what channel he will use to share that message to the other person? Channel may be phone call, video call, message format, or we can say face-to-face conversation. So channel is a type of medium by which we can share the information to the other person. Now we are having a types of channels also. It can be in a written format, it can be in the non-verbal format, it can be in the verbal format, it can be in the digital format. So it depends upon the sender which form he wants to use. So let's discuss about the types of channel also, so that it is easy for you. So verbal channel, as I've told you, face-to-face conversation, phone calls, video conferences. Written channel like email, reports, letters, as I've already discussed in the previous slides. Next is your non-verbal channel. Non-verbal channel are body language, facial expressions, visual aids. These are some of the non-verbal channels. Now next is your digital channel. Digital channels like, for example, Insta message or instant message, or social media, WhatsApp messages, collaboration platform. These are some of the instant or digital channel by which we can send the informations to the other party. So once sender have sent the information or message to the receiver, he will receive that information through the channel. Now what he will give the feedback about that information. Okay, so for example, if I am a sender, I am sharing the informations to you guys, and to all of you, you will get the information and then you will give the feedback to us that you have understand everything or not. That is comes to be the feedback. That is a clear cut example. So feedback means, feedback is a receivable response to the sender message. What response you people gives to us is a we can say a feedback or a response by which we can know how like you understand our concept or not. So that comes to be the feedback. In any organization, if we are talking about a small meeting, the small meeting, like there are 2 or 3 people, one manager. So manager is a sender, okay, and he has all the information. So information is your message, and he will decode, or he will share that information to the team members. So which channel he are using here? He is using a verbal channel, like he is sharing the information face to face. So that is a verbal channel he is used. And once he will give the information to the receiver, like the team members, they will give the feedbacks to the manager. So that comes to be the response part. Okay, so feedback is a receiver response to the sender message. It indicates where the message was understood correctly and allow the sender the effectiveness of communication. So here we will clear with the communication process. Now what do you understand by the effective communication? So effective communication effective communication is a process of exchanging information in such a way that intent message is accurately received, understood, and then the receiver will give the feedback. It may also include a clear, concise, and a powerful interaction with the team members. Now we will understand about the effective communication in a details. So a communication is a dynamic and interactive series of steps that ensure effective transmission and reception of message. Each step is crucial for minimizing, understanding, and enhancing clarity. Effective communication involves careful encoding by senders, appropriate channels selections, accurate decoding by the receiver, and constructive feedback, all within the relevant construct and within minimal noise interference. Effective communication is a process of successful conveying or exchange informations, ideas, and feelings. It ensures that the intent message is received, understood, and acted upon a organization. Effective communication have several key characteristics that helps ensure clarity, understanding, engagement. Here are main characteristics of the effective communication. So you can see in the PPTs we are having some of the effective communication characteristics. So first is your clarity. Okay, second is your conciseness. Next is your relevance, then timeless, and last is your feedback. So what do you understand by the clarity? Clarity means the information which you are providing to the other party that should be clear and easy to understand. We have to avoid using the complex words. So when we are talking or when we are communicating with the organization, so we have to use a very simple words or very easy words so that it will be understood by the other person. So as I discussed about the clarity, so clarity simply I said that your message should be clear and easy to understand. Now next is your conciseness. What do you understand by conciseness? Conciseness means the message should be brief and to the point. What information you are providing to the other party, that should be basically in a to the point manner. There is no other information should be given to the third party so that it may cause any misunderstanding. So avoid unnecessarily detailed and stick to the core of information that needs to be conveyed. So it will be in a very concise manner to give information to the other party. Now next is your consistency. What do you understand by consistency? Consistency means the message should be consistent in a tone, style, and a content. Your tone should be very reliable, or avoid any type of hardened tone so that it may give any misunderstanding to the other party. Ensure that the information does not contract itself and align with the previous communication. So what information you are providing, that should be in a very consistent manner. Next is your relevance. What do you understand by relevance? Relevance means the message should be relevant to the audience and address their needs and concerns. The information which you are providing to the other party, that should be very relevant. There should be no other information you are providing to the other party. Now we are also having one of the characteristics, that is completeness. So what do you understand by completeness? Completeness means that the message should be complete. There should be no we can say that no incomplete message should be given to the third party. Include all the relevant details so that the receiver has the full understanding, and also take an appropriate action if the information is not providing if the information is not completely provided to the other party, in that it may affect the team members to take an appropriate action. So that is a best example of completeness. Next comes to be the consideration or the timeless. Consideration basically means the message should be tailored to the audience need, perspectives, and background. Implementations understand the audience level of knowledge, culture, background, and preferences to make the message relevant and engaging. That's terms to be the consideration. Now we will know about what you understand by the feedback. Feedback basically means if we are providing any informations to the other party, and that should be clear, concise, considerate, relevant information, so they will give a valuable feedback to us, and that will be helpful in the future. So feedback basically means effective communication involves a two-way exchange where feedback is encouraged and valued. Implements create opportunities for the receiver to ask questions, provide feedback, and confirm understanding. That terms to be the feedback. Now, next comes to your barriers of communication. What do you understand by the barriers? Like, first of all, we know what is barrier. So, barrier basically means the misunderstanding, all the problems which are come while communicating with the other parties. That comes to be the barriers of communication. So we are having seven or five types of barriers of communication. First is your semantic barrier, next is your psychological barrier, then is your physical barrier, and then is your culture barrier, then is your technical barrier. So first of all, we will discuss what is a semantic barrier. Semantic barrier basically means, or simple words we can say, there is a language barrier. Like for example, I am from a different city or different country, and some other I want to talk or want to give the information, and he or she will not able to understand my language. So that is terms to be the semantic barrier, where there is a difference between the language, are terms to be the semantic barrier. So we have discussed about the semantic barriers. So semantic barriers, as I have told you, basically it means a language barrier. Now next comes to the psychological barriers. Psychological barriers means like attitude of an sender or receiver, or the emotional connect, or when the information is somewhere not clearly transmitted to the other party, or they will we can say that they will pre-assume something. That turns to be the psychological barrier. Now next comes to be the physical barrier. Physical barrier means like noise while communicating with each other, or distance, or physical separations. These are some to be the physical barrier. Next is the cultural difference barrier. Cultural difference, like for example, I am coming from a different background, you guys are coming from a different background. So that comes to be the culture barrier. Like our communication style, our talking style, our dressing style is somewhere different, and comes to be the culture barrier. Now next is your technological barrier. What do you understand by technological barrier? Issues with digital tools or platforms that are hidden communicators. That comes to be the technological barrier. So these are some of the type of a barrier of effective communication. Next, we will know about external communication or internal communication versus the business communication. Okay, so first we will know the difference between the internal communication and the external communication. So what is internal communication? The meaning of internal communication. So internal communication refers to the exchange of information within an organization. When we are exchange any information within the organization or inside the organization with the internal parties, are terms to be the internal communication. It involves communication between the managers, employees, and department to ensure that everyone is aligned with the organization goals, policies, and operations, are terms to be the internal communication. Now, what is the purpose of internal communication? So first is your coordination, second is your information sharing, motivation, engagement, feedback, and improvement. So one by one we will discuss each and everything. So what is coordination? Coordination to ensure that various departments and team are working together efficiently. Now next is your information sharing. Information sharing means the important information and update policies within the organization. Like any changes are to be made within the organization, are terms to be the information sharing. Next is your motivation and engagement. What is motivation and engagement? To keep employees informed, motivated, and engaged with the organization goals and values. Next comes to be the feedback and improvement. So feedback and improvement together, feedback from employees and informed proper and practices. Now what are the types of internal communication? Like what are the forms of internal communication? So internal communication is both for the formal form or for the informal form. So first of all, we don't know what do you understand by the formal communication or formal form. Formal form, when we are communicating within the organization or with any with our employees, that terms to be the formal communication. Whereas informal communication, like when we are talking about friends, that terms to be the informal communication. But in external communication, we mostly use the formal way to communicate with other person. Now next is the what is the objective, or first of all we will know about we will come across the types only. Like there are vertical types of communication, information flow between different level of hierarchies, that is from managers to employees and vice versa. Like we will transmit the information from managers to employee, or we will transmit the employees information to the manager, that is vice versa, terms to be the vertical communication. Now what is a downward communication? Downward communication means from higher management to subordinates, including instruction, policies and feedback are terms to be the downwards communication. Next is our upward communication. These all are the types of the internal communication, or we can say the forms of internal communication which we are discussing. That is your verbal or formal, informal, vertical, downwards, upward, horizontal. These are all the forms or types of internal communication. So what is upward communication? Upward communication for subordinates to the higher management, including reports, suggestions and concern. Next, what is horizontal communication? So horizontal communication means information flow between peers or department at the same hierarchy level. When we are talking with the same hierarchy level, like managers to managers. Next is your technological communication. So it means information flow across different level and department, such as a manager in one department to the other department. So who are the participants of internal communication? Employees and the management. What is the frequency? How is the frequency? How is the toll? That is high. Now flow of communication, it is within the organization. Okay, so we are having some of the methods of the internal communication. So first is your meeting, like regular basis meeting which are done in the organization, or all the hand meeting we can say. Now next is your emails, internal emails for announcement, updates, any new policies are also a method of internal communication. Next is your internet, company internet for sharing documents, policies and news. Any new news is coming, any new policies is coming, are terms to be the internet. Now newsletters, internal newsletters to keep employees informed about company news and achievements. Instant messages took like Slack, Microsoft Teams and other message platforms. Next we are come across the external communication. So as I have told you, internal communication basically means when we are communicating within the or internal the organization or within the organization between the member, whereas external communication is very opposite, we can say, when we are communication with any external party or any third party. For example, if we are talking related to any project with third party interference, that terms to be the external communication. So external communications to the exchange of information between an organization and external entities. This include communication with customer, suppliers, investor, regulators and the general public. Now what are the forms of external communication. So first form is, it is mostly formal communication. If we are talking to any third party or external party, so that tone is very formal. So what is the purpose of that external communication? What is the purpose, like why we do the external communication? First is your brand and marketing. Brand and marketing means to promote the organization, products, services and brand image. If we are organizing any new product to the organization, so we have to promote also to that terms to be the brand or market. Now next is your customer relation. Customer relations, to build and maintain relationship with customer, handle inquiries and provide customer support. So customer support, for in a simple word we can say, if our client or our customer is facing any problem with that product, we have the customer support by which they can get a help with our organization. Next is your public relations. So public relations, to manage the organization reputation and communicate with the media and the public. Next is your investor relations. Investor relations, to keep investor informed about the company performance, strategies, direction. Next is your competencies. Competencies means to communicate with the regular bodies and ensure competencies with the law and regulations. Now, as I have discussed with the internal communication types, so here we will discuss about the external communication types. Okay, so external communication type, we are having marketing communication. First is the type marketing communication. For example, advertisement, promotion, social media marketing, and so on. These are some of the marketing communication. Next is your customer communication. Customer communication interaction, support, emails, and help desk operations. Next is your public relations. So what are the types of a public relation? Press releasing any new, a new product is coming, so we have to give a press release. Media benefits, public statements, these are type of a public relation, when we are communicating informations to the third party, or we can say to the public system, so that it will be spread in overall we can say that overall public, to give a better result. Our terms to be the public relation. Next is your investor communication. Investor communication, annual report, earning calls, and shareholder meeting. Next is your supplier communication. Supplier communication, for example, any contract, supply chain coordination, negotiation, and so on. So these are the type of external communication. Now, what is the objective of external communication? Why we have to do the external communication? External communication basically we do to maintain a relationship with the outer parties. Because if we are working in any organization, so information from the outer parties also needed to achieve any goal. So the basic version, or we can say that the basic objective of external communication is to maintain the relationship or exchange the information with the outer party. Whereas we have discussed in the internal communication, it is for the various business unit and department. Okay, now what are the methods of external communication? So first method is, as I have told you, is your advertisement. Advertisement is very important, like TV, radios, online, social media platforms, and so on. Next is your press release. Press release, like official statement released to media. If we are generate, or we produce any good product, or if we are come across with any policies that will benefit to the public also, so we will give an official statement to the media. Now next is your customer service channels. Customer service channels like call centers, email support, live chats, social media interaction, and so on. Next is your newsletter and email. Newsletter and email, regular updates to the customers, investors, and stakeholders. Corporate website. company's website for information, product details, and contact information. Now next is your social media. Social media nowadays very useful, like your Facebook. You can get any information from the Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram for engaging with the public and customer. So at the end, I just want to conclude with the external and the internal communication. Why it is useful for business communication? Like external and internal communication are essential for smooth operations and success of any organization. Internal communication focus on maintaining effective information flow within the organization to ensure coordination, motivate, and engagement among employees. Whereas external communication aims to build and maintain relationship with the external stakeholders, manage the organization public image, support marketing and customers efforts. Both type of communications require careful planning. If we are doing the communication either external or internal in any business, so we should be very careful and we should be very careful towards the planning and execution to achieve their respective goals. Do you understand by listening? So listening basically means it is an active process of receiving, interpreting and responding to a spoken or non-verbal message. It involves more than just hearing the words. It required understanding the message, corresponding the context, and responding appropriately. Effective listening is an essential skills in both personal and professional setting. So listening is basically a business communication that involves actively understanding the message that should be conveyed by the others. Okay, so that's terms to be the listening. Now what are the importance of listening? Why listening is important? First is to build trust. If we are not able to build trust, so how can other person listens to our information? So building trust is quite important while listening to other person. Next is your enhanced collaboration, like facilitate teamwork and cooperation. Next is your improved understanding ensures comprehension of message and instructions. Okay, so improvement here is very important. Improvement also affect the message is accurate, received, and is understood by the other party. Next is your enhancement relationship. So enhancement relationship, when people feel heard, it forecast trust and strength relationship. It is a type of a building trust. We can say other example of a building trust is your enhanced relationship. Okay, next is our problem solving, like facilitate in help of problem solving or decision making. So, gather information, listening carefully can provide valuable insights and information that are crucial for making informed decisions. And encourage collaboration. Effective listening promotes open communication and collaboration, leading to better problem solving. Next is your increased productivity and efficiencies. Clear instructions are given while listening. Ensure that instructions and expectations are clearly understood and hence productivity. It also reduces the errors by fully understand the task and requirement. Mistakes rework are minimized. Next is your enhanced learning and knowledge acquisition. So listening is fundamental to learning, whether in education setting, training programs, or everyday interaction. Encourage continuous improvement. By listening to feedback, individual can learn, improve continuous. Next is your promote emotional intelligence and empathy. So in the PPT, you are able to see some of the importance of listening, but here I can just tell you there are many importance of listening. So promote emotional intelligence, and empathy is also one of the most important aspect of listening. So understanding emotion, effective listening help in understand the emotion and perspective of others. Respond by the acknowledgement other feeling. One can respond with the empathy and support. Next is your strength, leadership and management. So strength, leader who listen well engage their team more efficiently, forecasting and a positive work environment. Inspire loyalty. Listening to employees' ideas, concern and feedback can inspire loyalty and commitment. So these are some of the type of importance of listening as I have discussed with you. Next is the types of listening. So first is your active listening, passive listening, mm, uh, as I told you, empathic listening, critical listening. Okay, so what do you understand by critical listening? Critical listening क्या होता है? Critical listening is a reasonable and systematic process of forming an opinion on what is being heard by the other party. Next is your passive listening. Passive listening basically means that allows you to take an information without being exposed by it or reacting a way of preventing a personal boundaries or attention. And last is empathy. Empathy listening is a process of listening and asking meaningful contribution that helps to develop strength or a human being. So this is all the types of a listening types. So active listening, as I have told you, active listening is the process of listening and relies on the undivided attention of the listener with a consequence effect to listening and understand what is being said along with retaining the information. So at the last, listening is a crucial skill that impact various aspects of life, for personal relationship, for professional success. It enhance understanding, building trust, informations, facilities effective communication by developing strong listening skill. Individual can improve their interaction, resolve conflicts more effectively, and create a more collaborative and productive environment. So for the today, we will just today we have covered what we at the last today what we have covered: types of listening, importance of listening, communication, internal and external communication. Now next is your writing important. Why writing is important in any organization? As I've told you, listening is important in any of the organization, same as it is when writing is also important. So writing skills are important in the business world for several reasons. Like for example, if we write any information, so that will helpful in the future also. Writing out what you want to communicate force you to organize your thoughts. Of course, good writing is more than logic and action. It also helpful in the future course of action. In any organization, if we give any new policies or if we come across with the new updates, so it always in a writing format so that in the future they can share with you, like we will provide you in a written format. So writing skill is very important in the business world. As we have discussed about the writing communication, so what are the advantages of writing communication? So first, it is always in a permanent record. Like if we write any communication, so it will helpful for a permanent record. Example: agreement, contract, minutes of meeting, and refers to a later for verification and accountability. So these are some of the advantages of writing communication. First, second is your clarity. Clarity means what information we are providing to the third party. If it would be in a written format, so we can reduce the misunderstanding. It will reduce the risk for the new policies. Next is your consistencies and uniform. Writing communication ensure that the same message delivers to all the reception. Example, SOPs and guidance provided uniform instruction. Like every information may provide seems to the all the member terms to be the consistency. Now next is your formal tool. While writing any communication, we should always use a formal tool. For example, business letter, as I have discussed before also, business letter is a formal type. Proposal, report, convey, and so on. Now next are what are the disadvantages of written communication. So first of all is your time consuming. While communicating with each other verbally, somewhere it is not that much time consuming as written communication is time consuming. Like we have to draft every communication, so somewhere it is very time consuming. Preparing and processing written communication can be time consuming. For example, drafting email. Now delay in feedback. When we are communicating in a written format, that also help in delay in any feedback. Like we have to wait for the response from the receiver for making any decision. Next is a lack of your personal touch. If we always give the information in written format, so somewhere it have a issue, or we have like we seem there is a interpersonal or a cold while writing the information. Okay? So important announcement of feedback delivered in writing may seems interpersonal. Next is your storage and maintenance. So, what is do you understand by storage and maintenance? Managing and storing written records can be required resources. Example: physical storage space of documentation or digital storage management of electronic records. If we write every information, so somewhere it also may affect the physical storage. We have to keep the paper on hand. Okay. Next, last is your misinterpretation. Misinterpretation means writing communication that can be somewhere misunderstood between the verbal and a non-verbal group. Like okay, so it may be like lack of emails or leads to the confusion. Like again and again we have to give the reminder. So somewhere we will misunderstand by that communication. So these are some of the types of the disadvantages of written communication.